Mrs. X, not her real name, looked forward to this party that she was invited to. It was supposed to be an amazing party because it would have given her an opportunity to meet with old friends, make new friends, and generally have fun. On the day of the party, she went there, the atmosphere was right, the music was good, and she began to dance. No sooner had she started dancing than she fell. People thought that it was just a normal fall, maybe she missed a step or something. But as they gathered around her, calling her name and pulling her up, there was no response. There was chaos, there was fear, people were running up and down. At the point they realized that she needed to be rushed to the hospital. On getting to the hospital, Mrs. X was pronounced dead. As a matter of fact, she was brought in dead. And the doctor said that if only anyone there knew how to perform a CPR, that is cardiopulmonary resuscitation, maybe Mrs. X would have still been with us, giving us her beautiful dance steps. Life-saving skills are essential. We can never overemphasize them. Now, what exactly are life-saving skills? These are techniques and ability that will help an individual respond to an emergency situation and potentially save lives. We need to learn life-saving skills. What happens when there's a burn at home? When someone is choking? When there's a swimming accident? When somebody ingests poison by mistake or anything? How should we respond? We must learn these skills. If you don't know them, don't worry, relax. We got it covered. That's why we are here. Like I always say to you, on the show we deal on matters that concerns your well-being and the growth of our nation. And today is no different, as our focus is on life-saving skills and responding to emergency situations. It is your favorite weekend show, Weekend Deal, coming to you from the network service of the NTA. My name is Patience Eloy Abba. Selma.
Hello, Patience. Wow. Just like it happened with Mrs. X, there are so many stories of many people who have demised, whose lives could have been saved and who would have been with us here today. And because of this and many other reasons, Weekend is bringing this to the forefront for Nigerians all over the world to partake, to participate, and to learn so that they can imbibe best life-saving practices and skills. We often say it's not my passion, it can't be me, but then no one knows tomorrow, and that's why oftentimes we situate, we position, we plan, and we align, all in a bid to prepare for the just in case. Now, there are many types of accidents. We have freak accidents, we have road accidents. People, while they are working in factories and industries, they have accidents. What happens to all those people? Many are prepared, but there are still a few who are not. If you even ask some of us today, how do we help somebody who slumps? How do we help somebody who even has a headache? How do you know to even have water on you all the time so that you can give somebody? Sometimes we have a headache, we go for drugs immediately. Do you know there are other small measures you can take to ease ache in the head or any part of the body? Well, we are not the experts. The experts will join us on the show today so that they proffer solutions and bring forth clarity and enlightenment. It's always a profound feeling that we have when we spend time with you on Weekend. My name is Thelma Obaza. Join us today. It's all about basic life-saving skills and responding in emergencies. It's always great to have your company with us on Weekend Deal, just like today, when we're talking about basic life-saving skills, and we're taking it a notch higher and telling you today that you ought to be able to respond when an emergency presents itself. But how can you be prepared? You can garner some information when you stay part of our program today, because that will be our focus. In our background feature that Francis has packaged and put together, he's been talking with Dr. Umbamalu, and we get to learn that there are fireproof blankets out there. And he insists that everyone should know about basic life-saving skills. Francis, I know there's more, and this is the time to share it.
It's very, very important that people should acquire those basic life-saving skills, because it can be of benefit to you or your loved ones or your friends and even to strangers. Unfortunately, in this part of the world, we don't have this rapid response rescuing team. Like if you go to developed countries, just if there is anything, just a press of button or just a call, 911, then they'll be able to meet up with what we call golden hour. But in Nigeria here, most people don't meet up with golden hour. Golden hour is the first hour after an incident has happened or injury. So the person or the victim must assess definite treatment within the first 60 minutes. Like if somebody just slumps now, most people will just be shouting, praying, and the most funny thing is that there will be a kind of competition. Some people will say, okay, let's go to Bapalao, let's go to Pastor. So, but if you have those life-saving skills, you can save the day, and that will make you to become a hero. Just imagine in workplaces or something like schools, somebody can just decide to kind of swim, and the person will just drown there. So if nobody goes in there to help the person, what happens? The person will just go, and if somebody that doesn't acquire those skills decide to dive in, we have 2 or 3 bodies. So it's very important that you just do everything humanly possible, acquire them, like that of CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, whereby the heart fails or maybe the person is not breathing very well. What you just need to do is to start manual pumping of the heart, making the heart to manually pump blood and giving the person what we call the breath of life to make sure oxygen circulation still continues in the system. There are different kinds of first aid that will be required. Like if you're talking about somebody slumping now, it's a first aid that you need to administer to the person by practicing what we call CPR, or making use of automatic external defibrillator. Or when somebody is choking, you will need to perform what we call Heimlich maneuver to be able to remove that substance or something that is blocking the airway for the person to be able to start breathing normally again. If somebody is injured, then let's say it's a sprain. Somebody hits his head somewhere, the person will definitely require something like a cold compress because there is a sprain. So you need to require cold compress. That cold compress will help to reduce the inflammation. And you now need to kind of apply something like a bandage to make sure that there is no space for those fluid that will cause the swelling to accumulate. So if you are packing your first aid box, if you are into sports, there are kinds of first aid that will be required. If you are into an area that somebody can have a severe cut, or there could be a scorpion sting or snake bite, there are things that should be there, like a tourniquet. Like a tourniquet, if there is no tourniquet available, you can make use of stockings or make use of tie, and make sure you tie the proximal portion of where the injury takes place so that you will stop the bleeding. But if it is scorpion sting or snake bite, you tie the proximal portion and apply something like an ice around the area and take the person to the hospital so that it won't get to the heart. So that's the essence of applying tourniquet. So first aid is very, very important in every home. when building a house, if you are looking for a house, you must look for fire exits. Very important. So there are some fireproof blankets that people can keep in the house. So once there is fire, if you wear it, you can pass through fire and nothing will happen to you. So you require that skill to know how to escape. If everybody can have that in the house, that can seriously help.
Our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on basic life-saving skills, responding in emergencies. Weekend Deal!
Thank you so much. Our backgrounder just simply underscores the importance of life-saving skills. To push it further and bring it down home for us to be able to actually learn, we have our guest in the house. And I will introduce the first guest. He is a medical personnel. We have with us today Dr. Usman Adamu Gwanram, Chief Consultant General and Trauma Surgeon. Let's see his profile. Dr. Gwaram, you're welcome to Weekend Deal.
Thank you very much, Patience.
Thelma, it's great to have you with us. So we know we're going to learn a lot. And we're not yet done. We have another guest. We know we'll be learning quite a bit from him as well. The Sector Commander, FRSC, FCT, is Mutar Achuri. Let's see his profile and then welcome him to Weekend Deal today. Oh, sir, you're welcome to Weekend Deal Studios.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good morning, Nigerians.
Okay, so we're talking today, it's all about basic life-saving skills and responding to emergency. Dr. Gwaram, who should learn life-saving skills? Do you need any particular training, or anybody can learn life-saving skills?
Thank you, Patience. As human beings, every day we pray, we hope that emergencies, they don't befall onto us, but they are a fact and a reality of life. And then they happen at different levels. If you go to hospitals, that is where sick individuals are. Emergencies are wont to happen. For instance, somebody coming for his basic follow-up or for other conditions, easily those individuals could slump. And from the security right to the porters, right to the people moving the patients, they should be aware what to do in that kind of situation. Then other places are where there are lots of individuals, maybe in markets, churches, schools, where there are sporting activities, there are likelihood of people getting or sustaining emergencies. Then when you go to lower level, then everywhere, at homes, while you are on the road, wherever you are, emergencies are likely to happen. So it is the consciousness for people to have that desire, that knowledge, that understanding, that belief that these things are want to happen, they're likely to happen, and then you would make the effort to get the basic skills wherever, and then have the basic little equipments that you can make a difference in somebody's life. So to answer your question in short, everyone should be able to conduct some life-saving skills, because you don't know when it's going to happen, and for that moment you're going to make a big difference between life and death for another individual.
And that person.
Yeah.
Is that life and death that's got us thinking, and so we must bring this issue to the center table, so that all Nigerians, indeed everyone, who will be a part of our show today, to learn and be better prepared, because one never knows. And as you have said, it could happen to anyone at any time. Let's hear from the FCT sector commander. There's a lot happening with the road safety. On a daily basis, you go out there praying for the best, but you need to stay prepared for the worst. What's it like? Road accidents, have they reduced? And how well situated are your men and women when such occurrences happen?
Well, our staff are trained on basic first aid technique. We are not doctors, but we're expected to at least preserve somebody's life, to be able to take the person to the nearest health center or hospital. So that's what we are prepared to do in the FCT. And then we went further, in the FRSU, to also think out of the box. Communities where we have crash-prone areas, we try to train first aid responders in that place. So there's what we call the National Community Post-Crash Care Initiative, that FRSC actually tried to introduce. So most of the communities, in the FCT have this activity going on. We train people in the community.
And it has
first
helped.
Respond. It has helped. Before we get there, they have already started. So they needed to know, for instance, how to handle crash victims, especially those with critical situations like maybe spinal cord injury and what have you. The way you handle them matters a lot. How you carry them matters a lot. So we try to train them, and we have a lot of them now. We have them at Tungamaji, we have them at Abaji, we have them in Nyanya, and so on. And we still on training people, to ensure that at least we have a larger number of people knowing what to do in case there's an emergency.
Okay, thank you very much. Doctor,
Yes.
I mean, the cases of people just otherwise healthy people, slumming and dying, the numbers keep increasing every day. We keep hearing young people, and these days it's not a matter of age anymore. Here, young youth couples playing ball, club members. We hear, so what do we do? And then, of course, CPR is everywhere. What exactly is CPR, and who should administer it, when and how?
CPR is cardiopulmonary resuscitation. It's just a fancy name for saying the heart and lungs trying to do what they usually do. Because the heart essentially pumps blood around into all organs around the body. So if for whatever reason it ceases to do that, or the lungs is not functioning, then you mechanically pushing onto the heart, directly onto the heart externally, you are likely to push the heart, and then the blood that is within the heart would be forced out into circulation.
Where is the heart located? Where exactly is the heart?
You have
this way. No,
we have an adult and a baby here.
Let's talk about the heart because you might be pushing the wrong place, thinking that you are helping.
Yes. You don't need to know where the heart is for you to do that, because this thing should be conducted not just by people that know anatomy. It should be by everybody.
Okay, fine.
So you just look for the breastbone.
For the breast?
Bone. Just down here. All right? If you're doing it, if you're doing it for an adult, all right, you put it in the center, stay on the right. You can kneel beside him.
Okay, please, let's have.
Yes. then you straighten your elbow, and then you push.
Okay.
All right?
How many seconds interval for that push?
You're supposed to at least push 30 times, and then you give 2 rescue breaths. All right?
Kiss
You
of
tilt the
life.
head. Yes. You do it 1, 2, 3, 30 times, at least aiming to do at least 120 in 1 minute.
120 in 1 minute.
In 1 minute, yes.
So what will tell you when that person is responding? Because you are the first responder on the scene by doing this CPR. What will tell you the person is responding or not?
Yes. The first thing when you are confronted with an emergency, somebody has slumped, is first you have to, the most important thing, know there is safety in the scene. Don't rush in trying to help somebody and get yourself into danger, because you are complicating the matter. If it is from a road traffic accident, you just rush, maybe in trying to cross to go and help the patient, you can be knocked down. If it is an electric shock, if it is gas fumes that were there, or a collapsed building, there are remaining hanging debris, they can easily fall onto you. So the first thing, because you are complicating, rather than the rescue operatives to come and meet one casualty, they are coming to meet 2 or 3 of you. So the first thing is scene safety. Then the next thing is you have to assess response of that individual. All right, is this person responding? How you assess that? This person is either alert or he is responding to verbal stimulus. What is happening? What are you feeling? And then if he responds, then he is responding to verbal stimulus, or you just vigorously tap him on the shoulder or on any other part of the body, then he will respond to pain, or he is unresponsive. That person that is unresponsive, first you just lie him down, check whether his airway is clear. All right, because if somebody is unconscious, all the muscles that are responsible down here for breathing and the tongue, they relax, and then they can fall back and just block the airway. He can die from that. Yes, himself.
But you just place them flat like this?
You place them flat in the initial part, all right, when you are doing the assessment, because it's just 2 things that will give you the decision. If you're dealing with a conscious patient that is breathing, then you put him on an unconscious position. You turn him on his side, all right, so that his airway is going to be clear. Yes, and then he would be breathing, and he has no chance of either vomiters or secretions going back and getting into his lungs and choke him and kill him. Wow. That is what he needs. That alone saves lives. That on a lot of times individuals, they choke on themselves. So if you know, but if he is breathing, if he is not breathing, that is to start the cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Now, depending on your sophistication, you get the airway clear. All right, this is how you try. First, you put your right hand onto the head, the forehead, a finger or 2 in the chin, and then you push up. You tilt it so that it is going to align all of the structures so that it opens the airway and air could get in. That is what you do first. And the next is the fastest thing. In developed climes, where all over you would see there is this AEDs. Yes, this automatic, automated
like
external defibrillators. Yes, that is the best thing, because that changes the outcome.
You're watching Weekend Deal. Let's take our next feature. Owen's been looking at fire essentials. We saw in our background feature today where a building caught fire, and every week, every day, we hear about markets, houses, office buildings catching on fire. What ought we to do? Preventive measures, how to manage, and then the hereafter. Owen has been doing the research. Owen, please share. What did you find?
Fire is beneficial to humanity, but becomes an enemy when its presence is destructive or devastating. Fire outbreak can happen anywhere at any time, mostly without warnings. Whether you're at home, in school, or in public places. Knowing how to prevent and respond to fire incidents can make a difference.
Fire safety measures, that should be put in place in schools, public buildings or public places, as the case may be, is essentially what we refer to as first aid firefighting gadgets.
In 2024 alone, the nation had experienced numerous fire outbreaks. Efforts to mitigate these outbreaks include better fire safety education and investing in firefighting infrastructure.
On the conventional smoke detectors, extinguishers, fire alarm system, we can actually now transmit them to our national headquarters. So when this fire kickstarts, even at the incipient stage, we can receive signals, at the national headquarters, what we refer to as machine-to-machine communication. The essence is to reduce human errors. Sometimes this fire happens, people are not at home, or it happens in a room or in a public place where people don't see it on time. The NAVDAS system, which is installed to our national system, will be able to communicate to us, and then we can turn out on time and thereby reduce response time.
Muster Point serves a central spot for spreading further instructions, updates, and information during an emergency.
Every public building should have a muster point so that if something should happen, people can gather in that point, especially those who may not have capacity, to serve as respondents. What you significantly need is space, and then the tag muster points. It should be so designated, so clearly stated that this is the emergency exit and this is the muster point, so that when people come out from the emergency exit, they should converge at the muster point.
Fire extinguishers are vital components of fire safety strategies across various environments. They enable immediate action, helps prevent the escalation of fire, and protect lives.
When you pick up an extinguisher, the first thing you should do is to pull out your pin, the safety pin. You can put it in your pocket if you have the calmness. If you don't have the calmness, just pull it out. And then you now have to lift the lever, And then when you lift the lever, you're holding the nozzle. Professionally, we understand what we refer to as the source of fire, or the base of fire. This is where the fire is emanating from. So you squeeze your lever and then you move your nozzle from left to right or right to left, if the case may be, at the seat or base of fire, not the flames.
Let's explore some tips on staying calm and assisting others during a fire emergency. 1. Stay calm. Panic can spread quickly and make the situation worse. Take deep breaths and focus on what's next to do. 2. Evacuate immediately. Don't stop to collect belongings. Follow your pre-planned escape route or the instructions of emergency personnel. 3. Use stairs, not elevators. Elevators can malfunction during a fire. Always take the stairs to exit the building safely. Assist those in need. Help children, elderly, and those with disabilities evacuate safely. Stay with them and provide necessary support. 5. Follow instructions and stay informed. Stay informed about the situation through official channels. Remember the tips and be prepared to act swiftly and responsibly. Stay safe.
NTA Lagos will be taking us on and going in depth on responding to heart attacks.
Anytime you hear the word cardiac, means the heart. So, and then an arrest means that something is stopped. So when you say cardiac arrest, it means that's a situation where the heart has stopped to function.
Is cardiac arrest the same as heart attack?
Heart attack is a condition that can lead to cardiac arrest. Like it sounds again, heart attack it means that something is attacked the heart. And usually what happens is you have situations where there's a clot maybe floating around in the blood circulation, which shouldn't be there, and that can lead into a situation where such clot will block the supply of blood to the heart. It's an insult to the heart. It's an injury to the heart, which has caused a problem for the heart. So that's heart attack. It's different from cardiac arrest, in which the heart has actually stopped completely from functioning.
What are the symptoms of heart attack, stroke, seizures, and allergic reactions?
Heart attack means there's an injury. When there's an injury to the heart, the usual thing that happens is somebody can feel a sharp pain in their chest, and then they might grip that pain. It's very, it can be terrible pain. It feels like somebody hit them with a block in the chest, because the heart is situated in the left side of the chest. So it's usually left-sided pain. Other thing that people can feel would be things like shortness of breath, and it could even lead to a collapse, where somebody just suddenly collapse, they drop, and then collapse, become unconscious. A stroke is said to happen when there is an injury to the brain. Just a similar injury that happens to the heart, as we said earlier on, can happen to the brain. Okay, so seizure is things that are commonly called epilepsy. Okay, so it means that somebody is fitting. And again, that the cause of it is sometimes difficult to say. It could be sequel to an injury to the brain, maybe long-term injury that happened long time ago or things. But what then happens is the part of the brain start firing abnormally.
What are the immediate actions to take before taking a stroke and heart attack patient to the hospital?
Okay, so for heart attack, obviously it's important if you realize that somebody is cringing, they've been breathless, and then they say there's a pain that is going to their left neck, going to their left arm, and it sounds quite convincing. You can just give them some aspirin and tell them get them to the hospital. So aspirin, usually we say give 300 milligrams of aspirin, but this is subject to this particular person's condition, whether they are one that can tolerate aspirin or not.
Studies have shown that there are over 100,000 cases of cardiac arrest yearly in Nigeria. Quick actions like performing CPR and using a defibrillator can greatly increase the chances of survival. How can every Nigerian be skilled in CPR training?
Community enlightenment is very important to understand what to do. If we do not know what to do, patient will die. So it's absolutely crucial for us to get our people to understand this. We need to start changing the narrative. We need to start going into the nooks and creeks and start teaching people how to do it. We've been going to all these schools to make sure that schools that will engage with us, we partner with them, and then we train our staff to go and train the children. We even create clubs in schools.
Prioritization of CPR training in workplaces and schools is key because emergencies can happen anywhere. And having people trained in CPR increases the chances of saving lives by making CPR training a priority. We can create safer environments and empower individuals to take immediate actions when someone's life is on the line.
All lives are important. Everyone who is alive needs to be given an opportunity to do more and fulfill their potentials. Hence our topic today, basic life-saving skills responding in emergencies. We're talking some time back, behind the scenes, kind of, about where you see emergencies, someone being attacked or has been attacked, someone is dying. People are videoing the experience so they can increase profile likes and all of that. Please, Nigeria, it is not in our character. Let us stop it. Focus on this program, learn skills you need to learn. And then our doctor is here. We are finding out that more and more young people are having heart failures, heart attack. Tell us first, what's the difference between heart failure and heart attack? And why is it happening with young people these days? Are there preventive measures?
Yes.
Are they not vigilant about their health?
Yeah. So conditions that can affect the heart that could present as an emergency could actually be an angina. It's just a fancy name for pain you feel when you overexert the heart. It is telling you that your artery, the blood supply of the heart is partially obstructed. So if there is increased demand on the heart to pump more blood, then it will start getting that there won't be enough blood. So you will feel the pain.
Okay, pain.
You will feel the pain, but subsequently, if you rest, it will go away. But when it is heart attack, when they call it a heart attack, and then the other term, cardiac arrest. Yes. When it is heart attack, in that situation, it is completely blocked. Then you feel a serious pain in the center of your chest or to the left side. It can move to the right side of the arm, to the jaw, and then you feel faint as if you are falling. And then there is that impending feeling as if you're going to die. They call it an impending feeling of doom, as if something bad is going to happen. Then you collapse, and then you'll be sweaty, and then you become confused and things like that. While cardiac arrest is the situation whereby the electrical activity and the mechanical pumping action of the heart completely ceases. Those two, the initial ones, the angina and the heart attack, they are from the blood vessels supplying the heart. Even though the heart is the one pumping blood all over, it has its own blood supply. So by the time it is blocked, then it is going to be the same thing. Cardiac arrest, if it happens, completely the action of the heart could be having. And to answer your questions, there are lots of heart conditions that people are unaware of, and then now there may be things that you have since birth, all right, and then they were not detected, and as you age, you grow up with increased demand on the heart and responsibilities and things like that, you may easily develop those things. Stressors, a lot of stress, going through a lot of stress, because you see the heart, it responds to certain hormones that are circulating in the system, and some of these stress hormones, they make the heart contract, they make the artery constrict, and get into spasm.
But the response, what should our response be because of these basic life-saving skills? Is it the same response for the heart failure, heart attack, cardiac arrest?
Yes.
Also to do the same first aid?
Yes, for somebody who has angina, all right, after
how will we know
we're going to provide it's the pain that you develop when you are exerted, when you are doing something more than usual, maybe walking a longer distance or running or walking up a flight of stairs. Now if you rest, it goes away. That one, you book the closest appointment to your cardiologist or to the medical doctor, and then for full evaluation, that you have time. If you don't get that person
to the hospital on time.
The same thing with the cardiac arrest. When it has stopped, you have used either the AED, the automated external defibrillator, or you've given the CPR. You are buying time
just to get to the hospital,
to get the responders to be there, pick the patient, and then they will decide whatever it's the background cause to be treated completely.
Thank you so much, doctor. If the right establishments are listening, we need good response time. We need ambulances to get to people who are distressed. We need to get people to the hospital at the right time. One other emergency we face in this country is flooding. Flooding is a serious emergency, a situation, and NTA Lokoja will be taking us through surviving threatening floods.
Lokoja, the confluence city, has long been celebrated for its rich cultural heritage, abundant natural resources, and majestic scenery. However, with each rainy season, the city and its inhabitants face the risk of devastating floods that threaten to uproot lives and disrupt livelihoods.
When the water comes, as you can see this river, we take over all this place, all this around, we'll be running up and down, packing our loads to stay, because the water have taken all this area. When the rain started, the time of rain, this place will be like, you cannot stay. Snake, everybody, everywhere will run away.
The water, let's say like rainy season now, especially down my room, Even the last one when he fell in the night, that's how I'm dey inside be packing the water. So anytime when rain want to fall now, my mind will be do go. You understand?
For the people of Lokoja, particularly in Adonkolo, Gadumo, and Ganaja, floods remain the most distressing experience, often leaving lasting impact on their mental, emotional, and physical well-being.
We just leave everything for God. And even me myself, I leave everything for God. So there's nothing I can do.
As the rain begins to fall, the fear of yet another flood has begun to build momentum. Questions regarding emergency plans and safety measures to protect residents from potential flooding are on everyone's minds.
The early warning comes from excessive rainfall, because if the ground cannot percolate the amount of water received from the atmosphere, it can result to overflow, and this overflow causes what we call flash flood. And most of the flash flood occurrences may not necessarily give you time to prepare for, and as a result is very, very devastating. And when it occurs, a lot of life and property will be lost.
People should know when or estimated period that flood normally occur, and if we know that, we should be able to do some mitigative measures. There are communities we went to in Kogi local government where we discovered that even within the center of the community there is a big ditch, and behind them there is a river. So we discovered that it's going to be a serious problem for them, and we sensitize them. We also join them, we fix a date, and we join them to fill that place. Then we also have this means that will help the community to identify early warning signs. We know worldwide we have a standard early warning signs, but we can derive a local means. It can be a tree. We'll mark the tree with 3 different colors. We'll let them know if it gets here. Once the water gets to this first color down, it's telling you that prepare your mind that this flood may be more.
Floods by nature are far from a pleasant experience. Aside from the frustration of evacuating and navigating dangerous flood waters, which can contain contaminants and or dangerous animals, residents are faced with the struggle to survive amidst the chaos.
When we come back, we buy all those snakes, something, we spray, put inside our house, wash it, close the door maybe 1 week, 3 days, 5 days before we come back to the house.
Once the flood subsides, in most cases, residents often return back to their homes. However, it has become crucial for residents to prioritize checking the integrity of their homes for potential hazards, such as weakened structures or exposed electrical wiring, and keep an eye out for dangerous reptiles seeking shelter in the aftermath.
Then for well-meaning Nigerians, we should imbibe the culture of helping when there is emergency. Sometimes before the emergency, well-meaning people can say, okay, I have bigger boats. If there is need, please, you can come to call my attention. I will help to support with boats to evacuate the people. It's another thing. Then they can also say, okay, we have relief materials to give to organizations to deliver, trusted organizations that can really deliver to the vulnerable people. Then for government, we always advise that government, we should have plan, pre-disaster plan. It shouldn't be when emergency happen that we start running helter-skelter.
Addressing the challenges faced by Lokoja and other flood-prone communities requires a collective effort. With improved disaster preparedness, increased awareness, and ongoing support, we can work together towards ensuring a safer and more secure future for those living in these vulnerable regions.
We talk about all these issues so that we can save lives.
Yeah.
And then there are times we can have preventive measures in place. And then these basic skills help us to mitigate. And then we can also handle the aftermath. Knowledge, indeed, is power. Before we engage our guests again, let's talk about staircase safety and preventing falls. Sometimes they can be debilitating and devastating. And guess what? We're going to get more information. We're going all the way to Yola. Yola, please come on board. Please share.
Our walking surfaces we commonly use in our homes and public places. Stairs by design are not level to surface. Therefore, in the event accident occurs, it may result to serious head injuries, dislocations, and fractures, plus mental trauma of the event. According to the World Health Organization, falls are the second leading cause of accidental injuries worldwide, with staircase falls being a major contributor to the statistics. Similarly, falls and slips often occur in the bathrooms and floors. Common hazards associated with staircase, bathrooms and floors includes slippery surface such as wet or oily floors, distractions from using phones or reading while using the stairs, poor lighting, carrying too many items, obstructions, lack of handrails, uneven steps, and lack of maintenance.
Initially, for the early days, sometimes we use terrazzos and ordinary floors, we shine it or we leave it very rough. But nowadays, if you do it like this, it's not going to be beautiful. So we have new type of designs. Sometimes some people put carpet. And then there's one tiles, we have a wooden tiles. It's very good too. It's not much slippery like that ordinary ceramic tiles. When you put it, it reduces accident on a structure. Most of our accident at the staircase and maybe the bathrooms, most of them is because of these slippery tiles. Most of the people, the tiles they use on the parlor, on the room, they mostly go and use it at the toilet and in the staircase or the steps, which is very, very wrong. So that is why it's one of the cases that if you come to finishes like this, you need to engage a professional somebody. You should be a professional builder or a professional architect for all those kind of advice. But most of the time now people use this carpet glass. Yes, it's very, very important. It's not slippery. Even if there's water, it's waterlogged. It holds water. It's very, very good.
As we often use staircases, bathrooms, and floors, it is important to take the following precautions to prevent falls. Staircases, bathrooms, and floors should be kept clean and dry. Avoid using phones or reading while using the stairs. Ensure adequate lighting. Keep stairs clear of obstacles and avoid carrying too many items that can block your view. Always use handrails when ascending or descending the stairs and take one step at a time. The use of carpets on stairs are very important. Ensure they are firmly attached to each step. Accidents on staircases, bathrooms and floors are unexpected events. What will be the first response to be given to an injured person?
This formula we call it Dr. ABC. The D stands for danger. It means that before you help someone, you need to take into consideration. 1, we are talking about preserving life. 2, we are talking about minimizing condition from becoming worse. 3, we are talking about promoting recovery. These are the 3 basic things that is comprising the basic life skills. So one has to put it at the back of his mind. Whatever you do, make sure that this is what you want to achieve. But don't forget, do no harm.
Falls for older adults can be particularly dangerous because they may have decreased mobility and balance. Here are some tips to prevent falls.
For the senior citizens, for example, when we talk of preventing skills, we are referring to a kind of movement that when you are aging, there's a way you're supposed to move. Because in skills, movement is a part of skill. So when moving as an elderly man, you are not supposed to move faster. You are supposed to move slowly and gently. And the elderly people, it's very, very good for them to be at least exercising, warming up a bit, even if it's within the home. They have to be doing that. At least it may help them during falling.
Prevention, they say, is better than cure. Regular maintenance and inspection can help identify potential hazards and prevent accidents.
Our guest is still here, and I was going to ask Dr. Gwaram a question. We've talked about heart attacks and all that. What about a stroke? What can we do?
There is an acronym FAST. They call it FAST, F-A-S-T. If you see somebody who is normal while he is doing his daily activities, you suspect he doesn't feel normal. You assess his face. The F is for the face. You will see that asymmetry. Sometimes you will see it droop to one side.
It'll be drooping.
Yes, onto one side. The angle of the mouth has deviated, and then the face is slack on one side and then firm on the other side. The next is arm. You ask him to raise his arms, you will see he can easily raise one and then the other one will fall off. And then speech. You would hear his speech is slurred.
Slurred.
Yes, and then he cannot talk, or he can even get confused or things like that. And then the T is for treatment. Immediately that individual should be treated. And usually when you have any condition like this, that you suspect such a situation, that person, time is of the essence, because that blockage or the blood supply not getting to the brain adequately happening immediately, it could be from something, actually a clot or a piece of whatever tissue blocking that arterial supply, or it could be from a busted artery. It can actually rupture and then bleed around.
Let me talk to our sector commander. I know that patients have some messages for you.
Yes.
But let's talk about response time with regard to some of the events that occupy the road safety, with the critical one is accidents on our roads.
Yes.
How have you worked assiduously towards improving your response time?
Yes.
Because sometimes accidents are caused because people have some health challenges. Some
Yes.
I've seen something where someone had a stroke or heart attack and he crashed.
Yes.
So you have double...
Yeah, like I told you earlier on, we have 11 ambulance points in the FCT, and these ambulance points are supposed to be life support. You know, so I understand somebody was asking a question.
Yes, let me just say it so that this is the opportunity. He said the FRCI commander talks about 11 point emergency centers in Abuja. You know, what about other states?
Yeah, other states also have ambulances.
Okay.
The other states also have ambulances. I'm talking about the FCT because I'm the FCT sector commander.
Okay.
You know, in the FCT here, we have, starting from the Kefi Road, we have one at Kubo.
Okay.
You know, it's strategic because crashes happen there a lot. So we have to locate an ambulance there. We have one in the CBD. We have another one in the Eretien. We have one at the Airport Road. We have one at the City Gate. We have one at Giri. We have another one in Abaji. We have another one in Angoji. We have another one in Zuba. And then we also have another one in Duse Alaji. Then we have one in Gwarimpa. You know, spread like that. I hope I've listed 11. You know, but then we have 11 zebra points around the FCT. When a crash happens, like I said earlier on, we call the nearest zebra point because we have access to all of them. 247, their lines are open. It's an offense for your line not to work. So that when a crash happens, we call immediately, no matter what time it is of the night. You know, and it has been very, very helpful for us. So, but I will also want to use this opportunity to call on members of the public. You know, there's a national emergency line, 112. You know, just call. When you call 112, they can get to 122. If you can't remember 122, 122 is specific to FRSC. FRSC call center is 122. So as soon as you call, 247 people are on duty, you know, and they call us. As soon as they call us, we locate the nearest ambulance, you know, and such crashes are attended to quickly, because the first hour of a crash is called the golden hour. You know, once you're able to attend, you know, to a crash victim, the chances of a survival, you know, in the first 1 hour is higher. You know, so that's why we decided. And then, of course, they keep expanding these ambulance points all over the country, you know, and it is important.
You want to tell us again who to call and how to call?
Yes, 112 National Emergencies line, and then 122 specific to FRSC.
Okay.
Call FRSC 122, and it's toll free. You're not being charged. So that's the responsibility. I want every Nigerian to have that number 122. 112 for every emergency case. Just call, and the National Call Center will direct the call to the appropriate authority or agency.
And as a testament, every day at the trauma center, now if you were to go, you will see 1 or 2 ambulances of the road safety bringing in patients at the National Trauma Center. But, however, in this advanced technology of these road traffic accidents, there are roads that you have to declare unsafe. There is number of emergencies or accidents that will happen on a road on a daily basis that you have to declare that road unsafe.
Wow, that's
it's not getting the ambulances. We have to ensure we prevent these things from happening. Because we can't stay for a year and say, okay, at Abuja or at Kubo, every day they are bringing 10 patients and we have not identified what is responsible and mitigate against it.
You know, one of the responsibilities of FRS is to educate Nigerian motoring public on the proper use of the highways. You know, sometimes when there are dangerous roads and people say crashes happen there more often, even with people who ply that road on a daily basis. It's surprising to me. Because when there's a bad road, it means you have to be careful. That's why we are built as humans. You know, to be careful, to approach those points carefully. A crash has no business happening in a location where if somebody passes every day and then the same old person that passes there has the crash in that place. There's something wrong with that person. You have to be careful. That's why. So we educate the Nigerian public on the proper use of the highways. You know, that's one of the major things we do. I told you earlier on of the National Community Post-Crash Care Initiative that FRS introduced. You know, to be able to also educate the people around those areas.
What to do.
You know, of what to do in case arrival time is not as fast as supposed to be, and so on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. There's another skill I want you to quickly talk about. When there's a burn in the house,
30 seconds.
You know, when there's water pours on a child or something, what do you apply? Salt. Some people say salt. Some people say pap. Some people say whatever, egg. What do you apply?
Tap water.
Oh, tap water.
Yes, keep the burn on running tap water. That is what you do. All right, it would ease the burning to stop it from extending onto further tissues. It will soothe the pain, and that is the only thing, the first thing you do. And based on its size, if it is larger than your palm, that is a burn that you may need to take to the hospital. And then don't burst the blisters. If you see those little blisters, don't burst it.
Don't burst it.
Don't burst it, leave it in.
Okay, they say we have to go. Usually we hold hand, but let's do some chop knuckles today.
Chop knuckles.
Okay, basic life-saving skills, responding to emergencies. You've got it today. Join us again tomorrow. We love to see you. God bless Nigeria. Bye-bye.